Hi, everyone. We'll wait for another minute or so, and then we'll start the presentation. So we see
Okay.
that a lot of people are joining. So let's wait for another minute or so. Thank you. Okay, so dear all, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone, wherever you may be. We'd like to welcome you to the second webinar, which is part of ADB's Education Sector Group Retreat to provoke thinking on new and innovative developments in the education sector. A lot has been written about the future of jobs and skills and how technology is disrupting learning and labor market needs in unprecedented ways. A major debate now is about what we mean by 21st century skills and how can education and training institutions prepare the workforce and entrepreneurs for the future. COVID-19 has been a wake-up call, as we all know, about the need to go beyond business as usual to rethink about how education can enable innovations through cross-sector collaboration and industry linkages. The title of today's presentation is therefore, how should the universities respond to the era of the fourth industrial revolution? Is very relevant. ADB's lending in the education sector comprises more than 50% in post-secondary education, and almost all developing member countries in the region are middle-income countries that are moving up the value chain. This requires expanding the stock of people with higher level skills by building on the foundational skills that come from school education, which was emphasized in another presentation earlier today. We have today a very prominent education leader, Dr. Woo Seung Kim, president of Hanyang University in South Korea. We will soon learn how innovative Hanyang University has been in promoting university industry linkages. Dr. Kim is a leader who has led industry academic cooperation at Korean universities through innovation at Hanyang University and as the co-chair of the National Industry Academic Cooperation Committee with the current Prime Minister of Korea. He established a successful industry academic research cluster by attracting companies and research institutes at Hanyang University's new campus. He has advocated pragmatism in college education, introducing industry cooperation problem-solving methodology in education. Recently, Hanyang University has expanded various programs to encourage and nurture student startups, which is another major development in innovative universities around the world. Dr. Kim has authored more than 260 articles and conference papers. His research interests are thermal and fluid flow in desalination system and carbon dioxide capture and storage. He was president of Korean Society of Industry and Academic Collaboration during 2011 to 2015 and member of National Science and Technology Council during 2008 to 2010 and he has been a recipient of several awards, including Medal for Services in Industry University Cooperation in 2011. We will have about 25 to 30 minutes of presentation by Dr. Kim, followed by another half an hour of Q&A discussions. So while Dr. Kim is presenting, please post your questions in the chat box. Now I'd like to request Dr. Kim to make his presentation. Dr. Kim.
Okay, this is Woo-Sung Kim from Korea. Hi, everybody. Yes, but I'd like to screen share. Let me see. 봐봐, 이거.
Yes, we can see it. We can see it, Dr. Kim.
Can you hear me?
Yes, very well.
Okay. So let me start my presentations. These are the contents for my talk, introducing Hanyang University briefly and sharing education. What is next? Okay. Yeah. These are the founding philosophy of Hanyang University is the love in deed and truth from the Bible are based on the four virtues: diligence, honesty, and humility, and service. Hanyang University started in 1939 with the Department of Civil Engineering, Architecture, and Mechanical Engineering. It was promoted to university in 1959. In 1972, Hanyang University General Hospital was established. In 1979, the second campus, we call it now Erika Campus, was established in Ansan, Gyeonggi-do, is another province. In 2019, Hanyang University celebrates its 80th anniversary. It shows some statistics of various items of Hanyang University. The number of enrolled students is 30,000 plus, and budget is $997.3 million. Hanyang University has 564 partner universities worldwide, and Hanyang University graduate 340,000 alumni. And here are some of the alumni who are prominent in industry. Jung Mong-gu is the chairman of Hyundai Motor Company and CEO of Samsung Electronics, CEO of Samsung SDI, and actress Lee Hyung-ae is also graduate. Seagen Chun Kyung-jun is a company that produces corona test kits. Hanyang University has also 3 HCR, highly cited research professors selected by Clarivate. Yes, also Seoul campus has 16 colleges and 63 departments, Erika campus 9 colleges and 45 departments. 153 departments offer master degree and 146 departments offer PhD degree. Looking at the student distribution by major, 43% of all undergraduate students are in engineering, and 48% of graduate students are engineering students. Since Hanyang University was founded in engineering, there are many engineering students. Hanyang University also cultivates more than 10,000 foreign students per year. It is classified into 4 categories of degree program to exchange students. Summer, winter, schools this last year was closed due to COVID-19. This is a picture of Seoul campus. This is a picture of Erika campus. And looking at Hanyang University's QS ranking, it was ranked from 354 in 2011 to 146 in 2021. The ranks are continuously rising. Engineering is ranked 79th. We need to know what kind of era we are living in so that universities will know how to respond. This sheet represents the first and second and third industrial revolution. There is a difference between first and second and third industrial revolution and the fourth industrial revolution. First and third industrial revolution were labeled posthumously, but fourth industrial revolution is named before its full blooming. That is why it is difficult to predict what is ahead of the fourth industrial revolution. In the era of a fourth industrial revolution, cooperation between industry and university is more important than ever. Industry is a broad concept that includes not only industry, but also society. This applies to all countries, whether developed or developing. According to a Business Insider in 2019, companies such as Amazon and Google did not require a college degree when hiring employees. These companies are demanding professional skills and practical experience. University education must reflect industrial needs. Among the 10 core skills released in 2015 by World Economic Forum, problem solving is the first place in order. In 2020, other items have a change in ranking, but the number one is still problem solving. That is why university education should enable students to acquire problem solving capabilities. Although universities often advertise practical skills and hands-on experience through various programs, are they authentic or sustainable? We should ask ourselves. The efforts of all members of the university must be accompanied by the efforts of all members of the university in accordance with their environmental. Three universities here also mentioned that they offer students the same as those mentioned on the previous page. The only difference is whether we are applying it sincerely. Why we innovate? It is important to strengthen industry-university cooperation through innovation in university education. In the era of the fourth industrial revolution, educational innovation is essential. It is important to connect with the labor market through coursework. Although the era of the fourth industrial revolution is called hyperconnectivity, it is important to strengthen the connection with society or labor market in education. At Hanyang University, there are two ways to strengthen the connection between education and society. On campus, the ICPBL is used to link coursework and industries. I'm sorry, is it? Is it okay? Let me see. Is the next page? No. No. I'm sorry, just wait. Yes. Yeah, PBL started at McMaster University in Canada in 1960s. Although there are various PBL programs, ICPBL was created to strengthen the connection with the industry. ICPBL is an acronym of industry coupled problem or project learning. Here, industry does not mean only industry confined to science and engineering, but also include society as a whole. ICPBL was named by me, and began to be applied to the curriculum at Hanyang University in 2016. ICPBL is an educational innovation platform applicable to all majors. In all majors, there is a problem related to the major, and the students are trying to solve the problem of the industry or institution related to his or her major. Industry-coupled problem-based learning, ICPBL, is a learner-centered educational model at Hanyang University, in which learners should solve context-rich problems occurring in real-life fields, coupled with industry and society. ICPBL consists of 3 steps: scenario development, problem-solving process, and evaluation. In the scenario development stage, it is important for the instructor to develop problem related to the class with the person in the industry. In the problem-solving process, relevant materials are provided to students, and people in the industry participate in the interim evaluation. In the final evaluation stage, the final result of the student team is evaluated with the person in the industry, and the result is delivered to the industry. ICPBL is classified into 4 types according to whether the industry provides problems and whether the industry participates in the evaluation of the outcome. Merge, evaluate, create, anchors. There is not much time, so please refer to the PPT for more detailed explanations. Arbor Center for PBL, run by UNESCO, includes Hanyang University among the list of the 20 universities that operate PBL. ICPBL homepage is composed of 3 languages: Korean, Chinese, and English, and many materials are open to the public. So you can click on website of the ICPBL Center, you can see all the materials. It will show some examples of ICPBL M-type, merge type in various majors. This is a case of type M applied in the course called 3D Simulation of the Department of Applied Art in the College of Education. The logo of the participating company is displayed. Problem scenario and problem solving process are described, and please refer to the materials for more details. Here is another example of College of Engineering, ICPBL, the coursework, Smart Construction Materials. This is the example of Mechanical Engineering. A course title was Smart Manufacturing PBL. And this is another example of the School of Management, Field Type Data-Based Service Design Strategy with a company named LG. College of Science and Technology, and the title was Underwater Sound Engineering with the company LIG Next One. And College of Engineering, ICPBL coursework title was Advanced Soil Mechanics. Yeah, this is another example of the M-type. School of Pharmacy, course title was Pharmaceutical Microorganism. And they collaborate with the International Vaccine Institute during the coursework. This is another example of School of Design. This is very interesting topic, Visual Design Workshop. Among the various cases, I'd like to introduce this interesting case, Industry Academic Cooperation with SMEs, called Clean Eye, in the subject of Visual Design Workshop at Design College. Clean Eye commissioned character development and logo design development for companion animal food for entry into China. During the semester, students collaborated with companies to develop the character and logos. If you look at the character, there are 5 types. Considering that companion animal food market is very saturated, students developed a character to distinguish food according to the body condition of the companion animals, infant, young, old, obesity, and pregnant status. The representative of the company was so satisfied with the result that in return, she will award a learning royalty fee to College of Design, settlement of the 0.3% of the sales from over 1 billion won in US dollars, 85,000 US dollar every quarter from 2021. Yeah, this is another example of College of Engineering. Course title was ICT Convergence Robot Engineering with the Hurim robot companies. In the non-face-to-face situation, it has the advantage of being able to actively participate in industry academia linked education without having to come directly to the classroom. That is very beneficial to the industry person. This is a comment from the participant in the industry. I would like to explain co-op, a way to strengthen the connection between education and society that takes place off campus. Co-op began in 1906 at the University of Cincinnati, and it is helpful to both student and industry because students gain job experience in industries or institution or industry relate to their major, and industry can recruit students with job skills. Students receive training support fees from industry and use them as a tuition or living expenses. As of 2020, MIT undergraduate, a world-class research university, also participated in internship in the summer with 87% of the graduates. Research in all majors is the university is also making strong connection with the society. Therefore, in the case of the humanities and social science, the slogan of knowledge transfer to society to transfer, and also in the case of science and engineering, it is also very important, technology transfer to society. Hanyang University has 3 strategies in terms of linking university research and society. In the science of engineering field, we are operating IUCC, Industry University Collaboration Center, for sustainable industry academia cooperation with the industry, and MEB, Medicine Engineering Bio Center, for the convergence of medicine engineering biotechnology. In the field of humanities and social sciences, Hanyang University Hanyang Humanities Enhancement Center was established. IUCC and MEB Center require annual membership fee from participating companies. Companies participate because they know the center's research capability. It shows some information on these 4 IUCC centers. Battery Center, EV Lithography Center, Composite Material Center, and Next Generation Power Transmission Centers. And this is MEB information, the Medicine, Engineering, Bio. We have 5 centers. Yeah, some company logos are there. And Hanyang Humanity Enhancement Center, we have 3 centers. And I'm going to explain about the Hanyang University Erica campus. Hanyang University Erica campus will be the most noticeable university for changes in universities through government financial support project. So government play a key roles in shaping our Erica campus to the present shape. You can see what it looked like when it opened in 1979. At the time of establishment, it started out as a 3 Department of Engineering colleges. The project that greatly influenced the transformation of Erica campus into a representative University of Industry University Corporation was the HUNIC and LINK project. Both projects were implemented by the government to promote industry university cooperation. HUNI project started in 2004 as a joint government project between Ministry of Education and Ministry of Industry. And from 2012, the LINK project was implemented by Ministry of Education alone. And from 2004 to now, we are carrying out the LINK project. Please refer to the PPT for a more detailed description of both projects, and both projects are selected through competition basis between universities through a series of selection process. It is a detailed data about the project, but I want to skip it. This is a current ERICA campus photo. And ERICA stands for, ERICA is an education research industry cluster at Ansan. Ansan is the name of the city where our university is located. 3 government-funded research institutes, LG Innotek Central Research Institute, Gyeonggi Technopark, and more than 150 SMEs are co-located on the campus. Through the establishment of the cluster, students can perform co-ops at the institution occupied within the school, and those who belong to the institution participate in the lecture as adjunct professors, and the professors do research and development with the institution. ERICA campus was also selected for the Campus Innovation Park project, which was jointly launched by the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of SMEs and Startups, and the Ministry of Land Infrastructure and Transport in 2019. This project designated the campus site as an urban high-tech industrial complex, increases the floor area ratio of the campus site from the 80% to 400%, and provide tax reduction benefit to participating companies, and so that attract companies on the campus through various corporate incentives. The purpose of this project is to create jobs and revitalize the local economy by promoting industry academia cooperation. Yeah, this is our picture of the Campus Innovation Park, completed by after 4 years. Since it was selected for the Campus Innovation Park project, it attracted the data center of the Kakao, the largest digital platform company in Korea. It is expected to be completed in 2 years. The building you see is the Industry Academy Cooperation Hall that is built at the government expense. Companies will be occupied in this building and various services will be provided to the company. Looking at the world famous clusters, so-called 3C is working well: campus, company, and community. We have to get together. Yeah, COVID-19 has created a non-face-to-face education environment. In the case of high-tech fields, human resources need to be shared because it is difficult for one university to hire professors in all fields. Resource sharing system between universities is needed to solve the needs and changes of the society that a single university cannot respond. Multi-universities share their resources to respond to the need of society in the face of fast changing environment. In the case of Hanyang University, using hologram based on 5G technology, the lectures of the professor at the university in charge of the shared education can be taken at the same time in real time by the student of the participating university far away.
Hanyang is making the future. Meet new education model that you can experience both online and offline classes using telepresence. Meet a holographic professor anytime, anywhere in your space. Meet the experts in the field and draw your future. Hanyang goes higher and farther. Based on the best e-learning know-how, Hanyang creates the e-learning consortium and creates a new innovative education model. Monterrey of Mexico, SCU of Saudi Arabia, Dalian Art School of China, and UMP of Malaysia. We are building the consortium with overseas universities, growing as a global hub, and creating a new educational ecosystem. Hanyang is becoming the first in the world. We are building an innovative higher education model with new EduTech. Hanyang University, as a leading university in innovation and university education, is drawing the future of university education. The world's first telepresence education with 5G technology. Hanyang University, HiRide, is making innovation.
Yes, we call it High Life using hologram technologies. This is my last presentation. Here's what Peter Drucker said. The greatest danger in times of turbulence is not turbulence itself, but to act with yesterday's logic. Here, when you think about turbulence as COVID-19, it is necessary to check whether we are responding in the old way in university education and research, despite the rapidly changing times. This is my end of presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Kim, for a very insightful presentation. You have given so many good examples in terms of industry, university industry linkages. We have one query, but before I get to that, I know Sungsup is here. He has to leave a bit early, and given that there is now growing demand for university projects from our developing member countries. So Sungsup, do you want to share your quick thoughts and perhaps a query or so?
Yeah, sure. First of all, President Kim, thanks very much for coming to us and then share your inspiring experience at Hanyang University with us. Also, thanks for your support for entering MOU with Bangladesh Digital University. Support for that. I have one question. Your example, particularly ICPBL, IUCC, and telepresence. These are really interesting. And also, I think it's very much relevant to our developing country. I have one question related to this. The applicability of this technology, for example, ICPBL, this kind of methodology, in a country where that the industry development is at a nascent stage. Very difficult, in such a country, it's very difficult to find out the private sector entity we can collaborate. What would be your advice so that we can replicate it, your ICPBL in such a country context? Thank you very much.
Okay. When you start applying that ICPBL to the classroom, university professors has to find out what kind of industry they are collaborating with. Otherwise, it is very difficult to find the right company to collaborate with that make a problem scenario. So given the condition, professors try to find the company. Otherwise, it cannot be applicable. And also, government has to play key roles to find out the connection between university and industry persons. Yes. So when I started the ICPBL, professors tried to find their appropriate companies so that they can apply that problem from the industry to his or her classes. Yes. It's not special program. It's during the coursework. It's a 16 weeks coursework. So when I started in 2016, I have only 4 classes, but now too many classes applicable to ICPBL, because the professor find out that ICPBL is very helpful to students to enhance the capability of the relate to the industry skills. Yes. So it is no royal load, but you have to make an effort to find industry persons to collaborate with the university. Yeah, that's the only I can say. But yeah, is that okay?
Yeah, thanks very much. Meaning the professor have to take initiative to work hard on this.
Yes, yes. As I said, we started 4 classes only in 2016, but now 15% of our all classes is applicable to the ICPBL.
This is
Thank
very,
you.
very good. Thanks very much.
Thank
Okay.
you, Dr. Kim, for that. We have some queries already piling up. So one question from Mike Chong, and I think it's in your reference to what tech companies are also doing, looking for not necessarily degrees, but people with skills. So is it still realistic for IHL to be running 4-year engineering degree program when technology companies are increasingly showing that they do not require employees to have a college degree? What is the direction of your university in view of this trend?
Yeah, especially IT business is very fast changing industry. So as you know, Google offer IT support professional program. It's only 6 months program, but every month the student can only pay $49. But after you got certificate, you can just put that certificate in LinkedIn, and 50 global companies hire the person who has the certificate. That means even 4 years sometimes it's too long. So that's why even 4 years education without collaborating with the industry is tragedy. So I pushed our College of Engineering, College of Computer Science deans. You have to collaborate with the industry. Otherwise, student cannot find a job. Yeah, that's why Google and Amazon and Netflix, they said we are going to disrupt college degree. Yeah, that's the situation of our IT business. But even philosophy also they have to go to the society, right? So that means even Department of Philosophy professor has to find right institution so that student can learn what kind of things happening in society, so that after their graduation they may find the right jobs.
Thank you. Now, in fact, this also links with culture of universities.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes people sort of have the impression that universities are also quite conservative. But
Yes.
you are saying you need good leadership for that. So there is a question regarding, can you please elaborate a bit on how your university is working on professional development and capacity development of your own faculty and staff? Does industry have a role in it?
Okay. Hanyang University is a comprehensive and research-oriented university, and promotion of the professors based on number of publications, especially SCI in engineering and science citation index. So they try to publish a lot of papers. That means they just put a lot of their time to publish papers, not education. That's why university leadership put their policy on education. In research-wise, if the professor has a research capability, he can do what he wants to do without any, how can I say, hindrance, without any difficulty. But education, university leaders, has to make a policy so that for me, as a vice president in ERICA campus, I created the ICPBL. Without platform, you cannot persuade the professors. You persuade the professor one time, but second time, the professor said, well, okay, I can do that, and nothing happened. So leadership is very important. Another thing is, we just put some kind of promotion criteria. I put some portion of it to the educations, not only research. Yeah. So leadership is very important. You have to push them to go into the educational transformations, innovations. Yes.
Yeah, in fact, what you're saying is leadership training is also a critical part of this change process. So thank you, Saurav, for that question. Now, another question is very relevant to many developing countries where governments are financing, significant portion
Yes.
of the fund. And so the question is, what is the role of the government to initiate the innovation in university education? What is the ideal relationship between government and private university?
Okay. As I said, the two projects, HUNIC and LINK project, university, especially in Korea, 80% of the higher education, all university, four-year university belongs to the private, and 20% is government support universities. That means a private university rely on tuition from the student and a lot of competition to get the government project. So government has a key role in establishing industry-university collaboration at the initial stage. Especially ERICA campus is the second campus. It's a relatively young university compared to the mother university in Seoul campus. So we try to find out how can we attract government project. So professors got together, make a proposals, but Ministry, especially education, set up the rules. You have to do this kind of items, and then we meet those requirements. So that in 2004 we started the HUNIC project, and after 16 years, ERICA campus transformed the early stage, very young university to now representative of Korean industry university collaborations. Yeah, so government project is initially very important to promote industry university collaborations.
Thank you very much for that. I saw Gisun's hand earlier, so I'm just following the sequence, Gisun. Okay, please go ahead with your query comments.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kim. It was like a really good presentation, a lot of like innovative approaches that we dream for our developed member countries. And as like a following on Song-Seop's question, actually when we try to support the industry university linkages in the developing countries, one thing we actually found it as a challenge is government is willing to provide the support. However, the local industries are not necessarily very strong to provide that this collaboration with the university. So oftentimes, universities are actually having more technological talent, while the local industries are still like remaining at the like a recipient of new technology, and then they're more a bias of new technology from advanced country rather than try to come up with a solution. So I kind of feel, while the model you just explained sounds really great, and then it's working very well in Korea, but it may not be necessarily readily applicable. But as you mentioned, the role of government actually continuously facilitating that, then also providing the funding and providing the directions, or maybe in some kind of key research areas, I believe that was really helpful. So perhaps we may have to go back like several decades when it was actually started, and then see how we can actually fast track that same or similar experience into the current developing countries. Thank you, sir.
Okay. To activate industry-university collaboration, university has to have strong research capability. Otherwise, industry doesn't want to collaborate with a university. That means university has to find out their core competence in research. I don't care one, the field or two field, it doesn't matter. They have to find their own competence in research, so that using the technology, they have to collaborate with the industry. Otherwise, industry doesn't want university. Yes. Same thing in Korea. Even though Hanyang University has a strong, the research capability, we cannot apply all fields. That's why I select 5 fields and 4 fields. Yeah. Of course, we have many departments, but some department doesn't have enough, technology to collaborate with the industry. So that we just put some professors got together and that they collaborate with the industry, so that it can be applicable developing country too. Yeah, but university has to find their competence first. That's the first step to collaborate with the industry.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, and thanks, Gisun, for that. And also earlier, I should have mentioned Mi-kyung's question on government. So thanks, Mi-kyung, for that. Now, let's move to another question, and this is regarding Professor Kim about technology. Rightly so, this is becoming very important. So the question from Santi is, given that new technologies are transforming rapidly and universities are now needing to offer short courses to boost the skills of even recently graduated students, do you have lifelong learning programs with digital credentials for working professionals to update their skills? I think there's a huge demand now.
Yeah, of course, we have a lifelong learning program. And recently, I just launched the gig education. You know the gig economy, right? So gig education, because the persons doesn't want to study for a long time, especially who are in the work for the company. They want to retrained. So we just provide 20 hours in gig education programs, but they have to pay a lot of money, because we have a very highly cited researchers. They provide gig education program related to that industry, the interest. So we provide lifelong learning programs, yes. And also we offer 100% online graduate program called AI Convergence Program. Is the only graduate program. We try to 30 students, but 80 students apply that. We started this spring semester because the Ministry of Education, they just release all the regulations about the coursework and the classes requirement. So we started that. That means you can just learn that coursework from the far away from the Hanyang University. Yeah, through the online, 100% online master degree programs. Yes.
Thank you very much for that. Now, the next question is a kind of technology readiness. So Mike Chong has another question. What is the breakdown of TRL, technology readiness level, that Hanyang University engages in? How does the university measure its success and achievements in research and development. I think that was very important point you raised. Is revenue from R&D outputs an important criterion?
Yes. Also, we push professors to make startup companies, but not many professors doesn't have good technology. So TRL level, I'm not exactly sure, but 3 and 4, some professors in 5 and 6 with industries, and some professors now make a startup company related to the life science. Yeah, but it's not very popular in making a startup company from the professor perspective. Yes, because the professor doesn't want to, their graduate student to make a company. The student want to make write papers. Yeah, that's another the obstacle to make startup companies from the university technology, using that university technology. Yeah.
Thank you, Professor Kim. We have one question from Richard Gonzalez. Is there a program, or are you thinking of a program for mid-career individuals who would like to change fields of specialization to make them more employable given the impact of disruptive technologies? Another question related to that.
I cannot hear it. Could you say it again?
Meaning, do you also have a mid-career program for mid-career individuals who would like to change fields of specialization to make them more employable, given the technological changes?
You mean student perspective? They can change their major. You mean?
Meaning the mid-career people who want to switch.
People.
Yeah.
Mid-career people, we don't have the kinds of programs to the mid-career persons. Yes, we are mainly focused on students and graduate students and retraining the person who work for the company. Yeah, high-tech companies. Yeah, it's not that popular. Mid-career person.
Okay.
Person. Yes.
Right. All right, Professor Kim, I have one question. I think you emphasized the importance of research in order to provide value to the industry. So the core, when we look at universities' functions, the 3 core functions are teaching quality, so preparing students, research, and also extension services. So in terms of now, given the nature of skills is changing, and universities are now moving towards more competency-based training. How do you, is your admission also changing? How do you get students? What is it still traditional, or have there been changes in that?
It's still traditional, the entrance examinations. Yes, very competitive to enter, especially like Hanyang University. Students study so hard. Yes, I'm sorry for the high school student. They always study. Yeah. Right. But that's the life. Yeah.
Okay. I fear enough, because sometimes there is a lot of discussion about attracting innovative thinkers.
Yes,
and companies sort of give examples of that, but it's not easy to do that. In terms of regulation, regulatory framework, now if universities have to be more flexible, how do you see the regulatory framework also changing? Because the traditional thinking about rigid requirements are also changing, isn't it?
Yes, that's right. But due to the COVID-19, Ministry of Education relieved a lot of regulations, so that before they regulated the online classes, number of the online classes. But now undergraduate, 99% of the all coursework can be online. But special graduate program, you can apply 100% online coursework to the student. Yeah, so we are thankful for today. So we are thankful to the COVID-19.
Indeed. In fact, there are some related questions on that. But Mikyung is asking another question. You alluded to the importance of startups, and training students for that. Can you elaborate a little bit on how you're supporting such programs
Yes.
to prepare startup?
We have a bunch of the startup education program to the student, especially undergraduate student, and they have some kind of the startup. How can I say teams, right? And we have more than 80 student startup teams, so that we just apply many educational the stuff to them. Yeah, some fund and legal service, patent service, things like that. Yeah.
In one of the discussions, I recall with some Korean colleagues regarding startups. In Korea, parental sort of preference is for their children to go to jobs more than startups.
Yeah.
How do you see that, playing out? How do you convince parents,
Yeah.
those who prefer their children to go to professions, jobs?
But very few percent of the graduate go to startup industry. So parents doesn't want to their kids to go to industry because startup, because they cannot guarantee their the children's life. But some the student are so brave, so he can go for it, and then they just attend the CES this year by online, and they got some kind of award from the CES, so that he just to make another startup companies. But not many students go to the startup companies. They go to industry for a decent, to find a decent job. Yeah.
Right. Thank you. I have one more question, Professor Kim. For many developing countries, it's sort of online learning has become one option, and Indonesia is embarking on a major way to allow credits up to 40% for students in higher education. But that also opens up improvement in terms of getting good courses from around the world, and that requires sort of recognition. So blockchain is being used to recognize and keep that record. How do you see that happening in Korea, and what is your take on this development going into the future?
Yeah, we have a K-MOOC, Korean MOOC, massive online open courseware, and if they student got some kind of the credit from that, we can just accept their credit to our graduation requirement of the credit. But it's not so popular now. And even though Coursera and Udacity offer many courses, right? But if you want the credit, you have to pay. But we have a huge amount of number of the students, so you cannot have those kind of MOU with that edX and Coursera. But we offer our own online program to the student. But after COVID-19, I think a general trend will be hybrid, online and offline, got together. That is also an outcome of the COVID-19, because due to the COVID-19, university set up the environment, educational environmental relate to the online programs, so that we just still going on. Next semester, we are making online and offline coursework in the hybrid systems. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for your presentation. I don't see any more questions at this stage. But as Sungsup also noted, we have new projects coming up in response to government's requests for supporting higher education. And one challenge we have been facing is how to get relevant expertise that can address contextual requirements. And we are trying to sort of build a network of universities, advanced universities and universities in developing countries to learn from each other and to tap on areas that you explained. So we look forward to our continuing collaboration,
Sure.
and we'd like to keep in touch with you. So
Okay.
thank you very much
Okay.
for your, again, insightful presentation.
Yes.
Thank you.
If you need anything, just to feel free to email.
Anything you want to say?
Yes. No, it is okay. As I said, if you have any questions and any help, just to feel free to email to me, and our Director of International Affairs will respond to you. Yes, my pleasure.
Thank you very much. So
Yeah.
participants, colleagues, those who are participating, you heard from Professor Kim. So if you have any follow-up questions, please write to him and you'll get a response. So thank you everyone for participating, and we'll continue this discussion going forward. Bye now.
Okay. See you next time.
Thank you very much. 감사합니다.
Yes.
엄마는 말 안 해?
엄마도 질문 많이 했어.
끝났어요?
어.